Hello, my name is Kevin Gardner. I'll be your host for today's presentation. The history of Juneteenth. Juneteenth, also known as Jubilee Day, is a holiday commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. It's celebrated every year on June 19th. The origins of the holiday begin with the Emancipation Proclamation, or Proclamation 95. The Presidential Proclamation and Executive Order were issued by President Abraham Lincoln on September 26, 1862, and effective as of January 1, 1863. While the Emancipation Proclamation issued by President Lincoln had established that all enslaved people in the Confederate States in rebellion against the Union shall be henceforward and forever free, the order did not instantly free any of the slaves. The proclamation only applied to places under Confederate control and not to slave-holding bordering states or rebel areas already under control by the Union. And of course, the peoples of the Confederate were not too keen in giving up their slaves or way of life. However, as Northern troops advanced into the Confederate South, many slaves fled behind the Union lines, joining the fight. The migration of Northern troops into the South also created another holiday called Emancipation Day. Emancipation Day is often confused with Juneteenth. However, it is typically celebrated on the day that region was freed from its state of oppression. For example, Emancipation Day celebrations were established in Washington, D.C. on April 16, 1862, in Maryland on November 1, 1864, North Carolina celebrated January 1st, 1865, and the state of Florida, May 20th of the same year. Let's take a quick detour from our story to add some context on the economic and political landscape in the U.S. at that time. After the invention of the cotton gin in 1794, cotton surpassed tobacco as the dominant cash crop in the South, soon comprising more than half of the total U.S. exports. The concept of Cotton King was first suggested in David Christie's book, Cotton is King, in 1855. Convinced of the supremacy of its commodity, the South was confident in succession from the Union. In his famous speech on the floor of the U.S. Senate, Senator James H. Hammond declined,
"You dare not make war upon cotton. No power on earth dares make war upon cotton. Cotton is king!"
Slavery as a free workforce was a huge economic advantage for the South. According to a 1980 census report on 1859, Virginia was the state with the largest population of slaves, with approximately 1.6 million citizens. Roughly 500,000 were slaves, around 32%. Virginia was followed by Georgia with 500,000 slaves. Then came Mississippi, which of its approximately 800,000 reported citizens, an alarming 55.2% of that population were slaves. That's an estimated 450,000 souls. Anyone up for a revolution? At this time, the state of Texas had one of the lowest percentages of slaves. However, it did see its slave population swell from 1860 through 1865 due to the migration of slave owners seeking asylum from the emancipation. The South's cotton is king theory failed them when the skillful diplomacy by the North, teamed with English abolitionists, forced their main importer, the British government, to develop an alternate source of cotton and kept them from intervening in the war. On April 9, 1865, General Robert E. Lee surrendered his Confederate troops to the Union's Ulysses S. Grant at Approximate Courthouse in Virginia, marking the beginning to the end of the grinding 4-year-long conflict. On June 19, 1865, 2.5 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation, and a little more than 2 months after Lee surrendered, Some 1,800 federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas to take control of the state and ensure that all enslaved people be freed. General Granger's arrival in Galveston in June signaled freedom for Texas's 250,000 slaves.
The people are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free.
And celebrations broke out among the newly freed black people. However, emancipation did not happen overnight for everyone. In some cases, slave owners withheld information until after the harvest season. That December, slavery in America was formally abolished with the adoption of the 13th Amendment. The following year, freed men in Texas organized the first of what would become annual celebration of Jubilee Day on June 19th, and Juneteenth was born. In the ensuing decades, Juneteenth commemorations featured music, barbecues, prayer services, and other activities. Some states in the Union continued to celebrate Emancipation Day, but as black people migrated from Texas to other parts of the country, the Juneteenth tradition spread.